Quite you. Anything around here? Hello. No, I wanted to read that. I wanted to drop down so I could pick it up. Oh, great. Now I've got to go and find it again. Found it, Rose. Don't worry, Rose, but your problems will soon be taken care of. Rendezvous. Found it, Rose. Rose, my delectable pastry. Meet me tonight at our usual place. Please, no protestations this time. Remember, I can give you all the leading roles, or if you're not accommodating, no roles at all. Your passionate lover, Barto. Right, okay, so we've got another hint to go. I wouldn't be surprised if Pascal was trying to set things up to make it look like he was, like, to make Laurent jealous, so he could get rid of him. Or get rid of both of them, actually. Is there anything in here? Considering this is technically in the... Oh, hello. I don't know why this is yellow. Next to Ficard and Strela, smouldering fireside. Among the ashes there is some burnt clothing. The original colour appears to be black. So, it would be logical to assume it's one of these three that's done it then. They've taken the clothing and brought it here to be burnt. The table is covered with props. There's a list of all the props needed for the play. The barber's razor is missing. Right. Yes, so all of these point to one of these three being the person who did it. But if we look at it, we have... Let's look at the... We had Ficard, claims to be a beloved actor. Everyone in the troops gets along well, except Pascal and Barto argue a lot. Not Laurent. So it's not Laurent, so it's not like it's something's been exacerbated. Pascal does not like Barto. Rose, she said she's married to Laurent, worried that he hasn't returned, so she cares about Laurent, and so probably wouldn't have an affair. So all of this stuff is probably set up by Pascal, who claims he plays the second lead, but the card that Laurent has, says that he's the second lead. So I wouldn't be surprised if Pascal tried to do this thing to he kills both of them. It looks like it's been a bit of an angry rage, and claims that Laurent hates Barto, which no one else has commented on. But he also doesn't like Laurent. So it looks like it's Monsieur Pascal.
Likes to mix it up with the actresses as well. Unprofessional.
Let's accuse him.
Murder Barto? If it had occurred to me, I may well have done it. But it did not occur to me.
What are you talking about, game? You accused the wrong suspect. What are you talking about? Right, like Laurent Doré is second lead. I'm assuming that is the second lead, and you don't have several people who are second leads. So that means that Pascal has lied to me. Ergo, he's the only person who has lied to me. Now, Ficard and Pascal have both claimed. Okay, let's go through the logical thing. You've got means, motive, and opportunity. Opportunity is everyone apart from Rose, because of all the notes being sent to Rose. So Rose is Rose. It isn't. The right. It's just looking at the motive. Those are the only three that have a motive, who have the ability to kind of do things. The cafe owner has no reason to kill someone who rents a room from him, unless he's really difficult to get on with. What am I to do? Laurent struck me again. Why would... And here's the thing. Why would Rose take a note to the cafe... which has said, what am I to do? This has happened. This is terrible. Surely she would have written it to Barto and sent it to the cafe. So, it's not Rose. It's someone trying to set everything up to be framed. Well, that's just a statement, isn't it? It's not actually a picture. This annoys me, because all of the logic points to Pascal. He's the one with the motive. Now, I assume I can't accuse the dead. The fact they've both been stabbed, I can't accuse Laurent of whatever. Because the logical thing is Pascal's killed both of them so that he becomes the main actor. He becomes the head actor and he's suddenly in charge of everything. I mean, it's not going to be Rose. I mean, Pascal is the only person who seems to have, like, maybe I'm missing something, but I'm fairly sure you only have one first. You have one first lead, you have one second lead. They're your 2 stars. But we already know who the second lead is. It's Laurent. Unless the calling card has been planted. But there's no reason to assume that it's been planted, and that Pascal is telling the truth. Now I'm at a point of... That's the wrong button. The wrong button. Go away. Thank you. No. Case files. Right. So... Unless this is meant to be a diary, and it, like the only other logic, and it is a weird jump that makes no sense to me, is this is a note from Rose, and all of these notes have been true. And so Laurent's gone to kill whatever his name was, I've already forgotten. Barto. And then she's gone and she's killed the Laurent by accident. That's the only other logical thing to go on. But how like you've got 2 second lead. You've got 2 second leads, which to me doesn't make sense. He has a motive. Rose doesn't have that much of a motive. I shall try accusing Rose. No. 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 Thank you, game.
I'm Rose. I've been acting with the troupe for
We'll
some
reduce
time.
your reward.
I'm married to Laurent. I am innocent. But God knows I'm not sorry they're both dead.
You accused the wrong suspect. Right. So then it's got to be Fincaron. Based purely on the fact that he's the only one left. This makes no sense. Disagree with me in the comments. How does this make any sense? Right, let's look at this again. Right. So the razor was a prop. So it's all props. So it's not the cafe owner. We understand. Because you also saw a man dressed in the black robes of a poor student running down the stairs. So that is backed up by the fact that the black robes are missing. Well, were not in the wardrobe and are being burned. So basically, okay, it's got to be Fincaron. He's the only guy left. Explain yourself.
La Paole from Marseille to Ghent. We have You are a clever man. It was my finest role. I waited until Laurent killed Barto. Then I killed Laurent. Any man who has a sister would do the same.
What? Did I miss a piece of evidence somewhere? That made no sense. He doesn't have a... As far as the evidence I had pointed to, he had no motive.
Ah, hello. So delightful to see the man who put me here, where I have no audience.
Did I miss a piece of evidence somewhere? That's one thing I'd like to know. Okay, let's no progress tracker. Alright, murder mysteries. Barbara Seville. No, I don't want that. No, it doesn't. No, it's not a thing. How did? Oh, come on, game, just show. Like, I'd like to know like how many of each thing I've gotten, because I thought I'd gotten each. Because I tried to finish each area before moving on. I must have missed a piece of evidence. Either that, or it's exceptionally badly written.
Actors. I'd give them all the chop if I had my druthers. See what you like.
Boo! Boo! Boo!
Having trouble? It's a tough one, isn't it? Having trouble? It's a tough one, isn't it?
I'm rating this one really low. Wait. Yeah, I'm rating that as...
Follow up on what you found. You'll get there.
That was terrible. Oh, that's just equipment, isn't it? But...
Having trouble? It's a tough one.
Okay, summary. Barto coerced Rose into a relationship. Okay, that's that letter. Right, okay. Her abusive husband, Laurent, the body in the love nest, confirmed this, grabbed the prop razor and went to murder Barto. Rose sent a note to her brother, Ficarant, telling him of the situation. Oh, that was the crumpled note. Okay. Protective of his sister, Ficarant sent her a note telling her not to worry. Pascal did not like Barto, but there's no evidence to link him to the crime. There's no evidence to link Ficarant either! You can't... Right, okay. Seeing this, I can see how the evidence fits into this. But, like, you'd... Okay. Let's have... Like, you'd think... claims everyone on the troops gets along well. Oh, it's great to get along well, especially when you work with your family. Like a little hint like that there's a relationship. Because all of a sudden, that does actually then bring this in. But because the relationship isn't mentioned, that the familial relationship isn't mentioned, there's no way to put you onto this route. And the logical thing to say is, you've got Pascal, who's lying to you about being the second lead, assuming there's only one second lead. Which I might be wrong on. I'm not in the theatre. So the second lead thing, he doesn't like Pascal. Barto. He wants to be on the top position. And assuming that Laurent's the second lead, even if there's multiple second leads, he would be competition to Pascal becoming the first lead. So it makes sense from that perspective that Pascal is it. The only evidence that we have that Ficarant did it was the razor and the costume, which also applies to Pascal. Like, here, okay, what am I to do? Laurent struck me again. So that was written to Ficarant. Why not say that? Why not start with Ficarant, what am I to do? I don't understand how you're meant to make this leap that Ficarant did it. I think I jumped onto the idea that some of this evidence was planted, and that's where I went wrong. But even then, you kind of have... Okay, so it was the rendezvous note. Meet me tonight. Okay, so that's that one. Then what was the other note? Don't worry, Rose, both your problems will be taken care of. Okay, so that's someone who's written to her about it. I should have... Well, I had thought Rose didn't do it. Yeah, it's just a man. Like, there's no evidence that connects Ficaron directly to it. You could easily put Pascal into all of this, and it would meet with his own motivation that I came up with anyway. I mean, yeah, one exception, Pascal and Barto would argue a lot. Like, if I'm Ficaron and I'm trying to set this up and trying to get myself out of it, I would have mentioned that Pascal and Barto would argue a lot if... I'm disappointed by the fact because this means that my kind of whole... I've got all of them... Have I missed out? Like, my only thought is then, have I missed some evidence? Oh, that's just taking me to that area, isn't it? Yeah, my only thought is I've missed some evidence somewhere that connected people. But I actually want to look. I'm tempted to look this one up. Now I've done it, and kind of see if there is some evidence about Ficaron that I've missed, because even if you don't assume that all of this is planted, so that Laurent would go and kill Barto, and make it look like it was they basically killed each other, you then have to take into consideration there is no distinct connection to Ficaron. There's nothing that particularly connects Ficaron over Pascal. Anyway, why wouldn't Pascal, if he wants to kill the Barto and Laurent anyway, not do that in the guise of helping Rose, which he hopes might allow a slightly Holmesian figure to let him get away with it?